Guys, this video is going to be on liquid liner and how I basically apply it. I've been getting an awful lot of people asking me about my liquid liner and, you know, if I have any tips or I suppose application techniques that I can share. Obviously there's a lot of different types of liner. I tend to use liquid more so than the other types, but I mean there's obviously liquid, cream, gel, cake liner, powder, pencil. That's about it. You know, there's a good few different types anyhow, and I'm not going to show you all of that in this one video. It's kind of going to do maybe a mini series so I can talk a wee bit about each type and I can be a bit more thorough about the different types. What I'm going to be using this in this video is basic black liquid liner, and my favorite type to use is this type here with a really fine brush nib on the end. I know a lot of people don't like these as you maybe don't have as much control as with other types, but this is the type now that I've been using since I was about 15, and this is what I'm most comfortable using. I love this type of eyeliner. This one here is the Bourjois clubbing liner. So this is actually my favourite one at the moment. Another one I use an awful lot is this Rimmel. And you can see how old this one is. This was just the professional liquid eyeliner. And same thing again. Now this one's drying up, but one good thing, tip is if you work on face charts at all, keep these, even if they're a bit too dry for your own eyes, you can still make use for them or of them on face charts. You know, for just drawing liner or using to draw the eyelashes and stuff. Then here's a different type with this short, stiff nib. I know a lot of people prefer these and find they're a bit easier to use than the liquid ones. I'm not as bonkers over these as I am with the other nib, but still, you know, it does the same job pretty much, and it's handy in a pinch. And then another type is this marker type. So comes just as a marker would. This one is the Eyelure, I think, but MAC and a few other people do it, or other brands do it, sorry. And this one, you know, basically just has the ink in here and it distributes it through the nib. So if you want to use it, try not to store it upside down, obviously, because it's just going to drain away from the nib. Now these obviously will dry out as well if you keep the lid off, so keep the lid on that nice and tight. Before I start, I'll just show you, I have stuff saying obviously, but you can get different coloured liquid liners as well. So this is a nice one from Sleek, and this was just Imperial Purple, one of those stumpy, rigid applicators. And here's a tiny teeny babby one I got in a free gift with a number 7. I don't know what I got, it was with a few number 7 things I got before. Don't know the colour of it, it's not written on it, but it's just this teal turquoise colour. It's absolutely fabulous. So I'm just going to start and show you how I use just a basic black liquid liner, and how I basically apply it. Okay, so firstly, if you're not that used to actually applying liquid liner, I find it handier to apply it when you're sitting at a table so that you can rest your elbow on the table, and that way you can swivel. You have less chance of your hand falling or, you know, kind of jolting or jumping more than if it was just hung up in the air. So if you rest it on a table, first of all, that's the handiest thing, and then use a mirror like this, one of these yokes that is on a stand, so you have both hands free and you're not going to be messing around trying to, you know, coordinate or cross your hands or anything like that. Then what I do when I use one of these liners is, oh yeah, first what I want to say is, I'm getting ahead of myself here, I don't like applying liquid liner when I've already got mascara on, because it can be just a pain to, your eyelashes get in the way if you do have long eyelashes or curly eyelashes, and mine tend to be quite long and curly when I have mascara on. And second of all, if you get any liquid eyeliner on mascaraed eyelashes already, it can look quite clumpy if it dries on it. So try and do your mascara on clean eyelashes or over clean eyelashes. I know it's not going on the eyelashes, but you know what I mean. And then when you take this out, there tends to be a lot of product here on this long bit, so I like to remove the product, the liner, the liquid, so that when I am applying it, it's not going to completely transfer from this onto my lashes, and there'll be less mess on my lashes. Okay, so this first kind of way of wearing liquid eyeliner is perfect for people who have maybe round eyes or close set eyes, because I'll just show you what I'm going to do first, and I'll explain why. So this is when you apply it just to the outer kind of half of your eye and then lift it up a wee bit. So my eyelashes are in the way, but anyhow, so you apply it. See, it's so easy to make a mistake with eyeliner, but anyhow, you apply it just kind of in the middle, because that'll give you something to work off, and then you work your way over and make it as thin as possible, and work with it, slowly building it up so that you get it kind of to the angle, or that's not really the right word, but getting it to so that it's completely even and it's not going to be bumpy or lumpy at the top. Okay, so then once you get to the end, I know some people who like to just stop it dead at the end, but I don't think that looks particularly good. I think there's always room for a tiny little flick, even if it's not that noticeable. It should taper a little bit, so just taper it ever so slightly. There we go. So that's that, just one way of wearing it. So like I said, this is going to be really good for people who have round eyes, because it's going to alter the shape of your eyes a bit. It's going to help kind of give them slightly more of an almond shape. And also, if you have close set eyes, keeping the liner concentrated on the outer half is going to obviously give the illusion of slightly more wide set eyes. Okay, so another reason I like actually having the product on here is because I don't have to constantly dip back into the brush. This will save you dipping, and this will stay wet for, you know, long enough to do at least one eye, probably both of them. So that's one way. The next thing I'm going to show you then is to bring it all the way into the inner corner. Now, if you have close set eyes, I wouldn't bring it completely all the way into the inner corner. You should only start it maybe where your own eyelashes begin to grow, and even then make sure it is as thin as it possibly can be, and then thicken it up. So sometimes it can be a good idea to do the outer half first and then do the inner half, because that's generally what I do anyhow. So once I have this outer half done, I make sure you don't have too much product on the brush. You can always add on a little bit more, especially when you want to have a fine line. And I just, in a few short strokes, kind of 1, 2, 3, bringing it in. And then just make sure it's as thin as it possibly can be in right by the root of where the eyelashes begin to grow. And then fill in the rest. Now, I use my finger generally to wipe up any mess as I go along, and I tend to wipe it on whatever I'm wearing as well, which isn't a good idea. Your best friend is going to be the Q-tip, especially if you're not that practiced at doing liquid liner. But one thing that I love to use is this. It's a makeup corrector. This is the Krylin one, and it has makeup remover in the body that comes out through the nib. It comes with disposable nibs, and you can kind of clean up this applicator until it's unusable, so you get a good few uses out of this. Really, really handy, and it doesn't leave a very oily residue or anything, so it's fine. So once you have that much on, and I can use this actually, so make sure it's nicely rounded, so that it just goes from thin to thicker, and then it's going to be its thickest, you know, around 2/3 of the way out, and then it pretty much stays the same. So see, I just add a tiny bit at a time until I get it how I want it, and there you go. That's kind of the basic liquid eyeliner shape that I would use on a daily basis. Okay, so that's kind of the second shape. So if you want to bring it in, some people can bring it into the very corner here, or else what you could do is extend it down into kind of a cat shape. So how you would do that is follow the line down. Now some people actually have a line, you can see a natural line that almost like it's not really a fold, it's like a hint of a fold that comes down. Some people even have a fold, so if you have that, follow that down a little bit, or just imagine the shape of your eye extending down, and it can be like that. Now this is great with wide set eyes, which can bring it together. It's generally used in that cat eye look. Some people, you know, you can, if you're using eyeliner under the eye, which I'm not a fan of doing, but you can connect that underneath and make a V. But even leaving it like this is fine. This can look actually quite, you know, quite nice by itself. And then to give a little bit more of a flick at the end, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to add anything over the top of where I have this. I'm just going to fill in the bottom a bit and just round that off, like so, and lift up. So there you go. So this is one that I would use a lot, especially when I'm going out at night. If you've got droopy eyes, always make sure your eye flick lifts up. I see a lot of people who wear eye flicks that are either straight out or just they kind of droop down too much before they go up, and that's always going to drag your eye shape down. Similarly, you want to make sure it's not it's unnaturally high. Like I've heard some people saying that it's the line should be from the corner of your nose to the corner of your eye and up. But if you were to do that, it would be like whoop, which is very unnatural looking, and you could get away with it if you were in a very dramatic eye makeup or whatever, but I don't think that guideline is kind of a good one for everyone, because proportions of the face are going to be different for everyone, and it's not always going to give a good line guideline. So one other important thing I have to say, I think, before just finishing this video, is that when you are doing eyeliner, make sure there is no space between your lashes, your lash line, and the eyeliner, because that just looks bad. You don't want to see any gaps. Your makeup will just look unfinished and rushed, and it just looks a bit daft when you can see bits of skin coming through. So there you go. This is perfect to use as well underneath eyelashes, false eyelashes. The glue can be hidden really well, especially if you're using a dark glue. Yeah, that's basically it. I know this was a long enough video for liquid eyeliner, but there's a good bit that can be said about it, I suppose, and it does take a lot of practice, so don't give up on the first or second or third or 10th go, because it took me ages to perfect it. It really did, and I used to spend sometimes up to half an hour just getting my eyeliner done, and the amount of times I've wrecked my makeup because I've smudged eyeliner and it was beyond kind of repair and I had to start again. So don't let that dishearten you. It does take ages, and when you do perfect it or get used to doing it, it can make all the difference to a makeup. It really can just finish off a makeup so perfectly. At the same time, don't feel like you always have to use eyeliner, because it's not a must. I know I used to kind of rely on it and feel like I had to wear it all the time, whereas now I know that you don't have to. It's a certain look to go for that just won't suit some makeups. And you can really alter the shape of your eye. Like I said, if you have more round shaped eyes or drooping eyes, it can really help, I don't want to say correct because there's nothing wrong with it, but you know, it can help change the shape of your eyes if that's what you want to do. So hope this was helpful, and the next video is going to be on cream eyeliners and gel eyeliners, because that one will be anyhow with using different brushes and the different brushes you can use, and you know, different effects you can get with those eyeliners. So yeah, I'll see you then, and take care. Bye.